A shocking revelation in the brutal murder of a prominent newspaper editor's son. American celebrities jet in for the opening of Oprah Winfrey's Elite Girls Academy in Gauteng. And India dominate in the third and final test at Newlands.
This could be it for Wasim Jaffer.
This is E! News Primetime. A very good evening. There's been a dramatic twist in the brutal murder of a Johannesburg businessman. The charred corpse of 31-year-old Vatakali Nechisalu was found in the boot of his burnt-out car. He was the son of City Press editor Matata Sedu. His wife said he had called her from his cell phone to say he was being hijacked. But now she's appeared in court under suspicion of masterminding his murder.
A murder that devastated a family. Vatakali Nechisalu had a promising career before him and a seemingly happy marriage. So who would plan to bundle him into the boot of his car, douse him with petrol and then burn him alive? His family is hoping to find the answers here. This is where Nechisalu's widow Mulalo appeared in connection with her husband's murder. 5 men she is thought to have hired for the killing are also in custody. 2 others are still on the run. The prosecution's claims have come as a shock to both her family and Nechisalu's. Until her court appearance, the families say they had no idea who the suspect was. Now that they know, they say they need time to meet and deal with the trauma that she is one of their own. As far as the families were concerned, the marriage of just 7 months had been near perfect.
Indeed, it was a successful marriage and a happy one, which we thought, was a model for others. And we would still want to presume that it was up until the end, until, of course, any other evidence is brought to us that it wasn't.
If the families were stunned, Mulalo appeared calm. The charges weren't put to her and she wasn't asked to plead. She's due back in court on Friday for a bail application. McIntosh and Zamante, E! News, Krugersdorp.
The security guard accused of a murderous shooting spree in Durban last week has made an unlikely escape attempt. Tamsankwa Nkobo appeared in court in leg irons and handcuffs, but that didn't stop him attempting to flee.
A first court appearance for Tamsanka Nkobo. And police say they have their work cut out keeping him. Nkobo is alleged to have held up a store he was supposed to be guarding and shot the store manager and then a taxi driver. Officials say Nkobo has made 4 escape attempts since then. His latest in court, just as his name was being read out. Nkobo managed to get out of the dock before the investigating officer grabbed him.
He has been a difficult prisoner since he was arrested, because on the same day when he was arrested, he attempted to escape, but he couldn't succeed. And again, he attempted to escape on the process while he was being interrogated by the police. As a result, he assaulted one of the policemen.
Nkobo is now being held in solitary confinement at Durban's Westville prison. Nkobo has been remanded until the 8th of January, and then the district surgeon will decide whether he is mentally fit to stand trial. Morgan Collins, E! News, Durban.
The SPCA is campaigning to have fireworks banned. It says thousands of pets were traumatized on New Year's Eve.
Rescued off the streets on New Year's Eve, these pets were found confused and very frightened. Cats' and dogs' hearing is far more sensitive than humans.
So if a firecracker explodes even several kilometers down the road, it's the equivalent of a bomb exploding right next to them.
At this SPCA office alone, staff responded to 88 calls on New Year's Eve. Nearly all of them involved pets that had fled, were injured or beside themselves with fright. The cause? Firecrackers. The SPCA now wants fireworks banned.
Let's not have areas that sound like war zones. Really, the reports that are coming in, the heartbroken people, every time we hear of an animal that's been killed, that's fled in terror, Is it worth it? And the answer is no.
While some owners are now calling the SPCA in search of their pets, the sad reality is that so many others just couldn't be bothered. Annika Larson, E-News, Cape Town.
How many people drove home drunk on New Year's Eve? Well, according to traffic authorities, surprisingly few. They nabbed just 39 drunk drivers in Johannesburg, Cape Town and Durban.
Officials are claiming it as a victory, that a crackdown through the festive season had driven the drunks from the road by New Year's Eve. But with just 39 arrests in the country's 3 biggest cities, a paltry 5 in Johannesburg, questions are bound to be asked about whether the roadblocks and spot checks promised for New Year's Eve actually worked. Alcohol is one of the key culprits in car crashes, and latest figures show nearly 100 people died on the roads over the New Year weekend. That brings the toll since December the 1st to 1,366 people. But again, traffic officials say that's good going. It's 100 less than this time last year. Authorities believe it's the massive police presence on the roads this year that's made motorists behave better. And they say the roadblocks and checkpoints will continue all of this week, peaking on Sunday when most holidaymakers are expected to be heading home. Amy Brooke, E-News, Cape Town.
Well, the new year started with a bang for many of us, but for others, fireworks are just a noisy nuisance and dangerous. So just what does the law say about letting off fireworks in public?
Always a feast for the eyes. But while such displays are legal, there are others that are far from safe and just plain dangerous. The result can be injuries like these: terrified animals and angry neighbors. In Johannesburg alone, officials say they're fielding dozens of complaints. So what are the rules? Fireworks should only be available in licensed stores.
If you're under the age of 16, it's not easy to get your hands on fireworks like these from an accredited dealer. The fireworks license clearly states they can only be sold to adults.
But there's little control over hawkers. Bylaws for fireworks differ between municipalities. So in, for example, Johannesburg Metro, you can set off firecrackers only between 7 and 10 in the evening on certain days of the year. Otherwise, you're facing a fine of 1,000 rand. Fines elsewhere can run up to 2,000 rand, and you can be sued.
It's a contravention of the bylaw if one shoots off fireworks in such a way that it causes a nuisance or it endangers other animals. But if people had suffered any loss or damage as a result of the shooting of fireworks, surely that case can be considered for civil action.
So the message from authorities: enjoy the spectacle legally. And if you can't think about others, then think about your wallet before you light the fuse. Belinda Moses, E-News, Johannesburg.
Let's take a quick look now at the markets. E-News Primetime continues. Oprah and friends open a multi-million rand dream school for disadvantaged girls in Gauteng.